Tooth, it is very likely you'll be paying more for your cravings in 2024. Cocoa prices have soared this year, as the CEO of one of the world's biggest confectionery, food, and snack companies says they're likely going to be passing along their raised costs on grocery shelves to consumers for things like Oreos, Chips Ahoy, and Cadbury products. Dirk Van de Put of Mondelez International spoke to Bloomberg News.
We, of course, will have to increase our prices next year because the cocoa prices are almost 80% higher than they were a year ago. So there's really no other way than to apply a price increase. Now, cocoa goes up and down, and so I wouldn't look too much for the long term into that. But short term, yes, we see that inflation also on sugar, by the way. And so while the rest of our input cost is largely flat for next year, those two are really causing us to have to increase prices again.
And while some companies have reduced the amount of product and packaged goods, a process known as shrinkflation, Van de Put says that does not solve their cost input problems.
Cost increase of cocoa is so important that really 80% of what we have to do is going to have to be through a straightforward price increase. We will do a little bit on the pack, but shrinkflation won't solve this inflation at this stage.
And even with prices going up, the fast food and snack food categories have not exactly seen a slowdown in sales.
So the categories we're in, which is biscuits, chocolate, and baked snacks, are flat globally, volume-wise, which is pretty good compared to some of the other food items you were talking about. And then if you look at us, Mondelez, we are up this quarter. We were up almost 4% in volume mix. That is driven by the fact that we've been supporting our brands quite extensively. They're loved by the consumers. They don't really want to shift to any other items. And so that is a reflection of the high demand, the strong demand that we're seeing from the consumer so far.
Mr. Dirk Van de Put, CEO of Mondelez International, speaking to Bloomberg at the City News Business Center. I'm Micah.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is City News 680. Everywhere.
It's City News Employment Law Q&A.
From City News and Canada's leading employment lawyer, Howard Levitt at levittlawyers.com.
Howard, true or false, my employer can personally sue me for damage caused by my negligence on the job?
False. In most cases, no one can sue you for damages for your negligence, not even third parties. But a third party can sue your employer for your negligence.
True or false, if my employer proposes changes to my employment contract, I must accept them?
False. If an employer proposes changes to your employment contract, you have three choices. One, you can accept them. Secondly, you can refuse, quit, and sue for constructive dismissal if there are major changes. And third, if your employer persists, you can continue to work but insist, I'm continuing under my previous existing contract. I'm not agreeing to the new one.
To contact Howard, visit levittlawyers.com. That's levittlawyers.com. Employment Law Q&A.
From City News 680 and Howard Levitt. Watch,
Listen,
connect,
whenever,
and wherever you are. This is City News 680. Everywhere.
Right now, downtown Toronto, an overcast sky at 0. The wind chill making it feel more like -2 degrees over at Pearson, 1 degree, and in Brampton, a partly cloudy sky at 1 degree. Celebrating 30 years of traffic and weather together on the ones and everything you need to know in Toronto. When you need to know, we're here, live 24/7, City News 680 CFTR AM Toronto. It's 5 o'clock.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is City News 680. Everywhere.
Good morning. This is Saturday, November 18th. I'm Andrea Pozo. And I'm Maria Castain. Here's what's making news right now.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is expressing concerns that long-term efforts for a two-state solution may be impeded by Israel's military actions in the Gaza Strip.
A GTA woman who was able to get out of Gaza through Egypt with her 2 sons says the experience has changed her life and she is grateful for her life in Canada.
This week on Oldies and Goldies, we're taking a look at one of the most famous worst films of all time.
The lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs has now been settled just 1 day after it was filed by his former girlfriend.
The Celtics escaped Scotiabank Arena with a 3-point win over the Raps, and Nylander turns the trifecta for the Leafs in a sweet Swedish win over the Wings. Sports at 15.
And coming up in business, Chinese automakers are starting to make an appearance in North America
and that has some industry insiders worried about the competitive landscape.
News Time 5:01.
That means it's time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Luke Shields.
Thank you, Andrea. This report is brought to you by CAA. Still some lingering construction out there on the major routes eastbound 401. No access from Dixon, Bayview, or Leslie. Those on-ramps are all blocked as a result of that construction. The collector ramp to the 404 DVP also blocked. You could still access the 404 DVP using the express ramp, however. The ramp to Victoria Park is closed, and the southbound Victoria Park on-ramp to the eastbound 401 blocked as well. And out in Oshawa at Stevenson, 2 left lanes are closed for maintenance. Westbound 401, the Brimley transfer to collectors is blocked. At Bayview and the express, 2 left lanes are blocked from Yonge to approaching Highway 400. All express lanes are shut down. And then the westbound Dixon ramp to the westbound 401 blocked as well. Northbound Don Valley Parkway, north of Don Mills, we have 2 left lanes occupied by some construction. Southbound DVP, same thing at Don Mills. We have a right lane, only one singular right lane closed for construction. If you're traveling southbound on the 400 at Bayfield, 2 left lanes taken out. The ramp to Highway 7 is blocked, and then the westbound Highway 7 on-ramp to the southbound 400 shut down as well. Northbound 400 at King Road, 3 right lanes are blocked, and then the westbound King Road on-ramp to the northbound 400 also shut down. Eastbound QEWD ramps to and from Mississauga Road are blocked for construction, and on City Street, the intersection of Queensway and Islington, all lanes are blocked for a broken water main. The winter countdown is on. CAA is ready with ways to get your home and car ready, including the winter tire swaps right in your driveway. Stay winter wise with CAA. Your next traffic report is at 5:11. Now with the forecast, Natasha Ramsahide.
A great start to this weekend. Mainly sunny skies, a light breeze, and a high back to seasonal. 8 degrees today. Increasing cloud as we head through the night tonight. Now Sunday, we've got these gusty west-northwest winds back. It's a little cooler, about 6 or 7 degrees for a daytime high. And for the first half of Sunday, watch for some lake effects, on and off showers, and possibly mixing with wet flurries to the north. Today's high 8 degrees.
Right now downtown Toronto, an overcast sky at 0. The wind chill making it feel more like -2 degrees. City News Time 5:03. Israel has given the go-ahead for some fuel to flow into Gaza. As City News 680's Phil Martino tells you, 8 agencies there say the lack of fuel has forced them to call off deliveries of basic necessities in the Gaza Strip, where most people are without enough food and clean water. Israel says it will allow some fuel to flow into Gaza for use by the UN and to keep communication systems running. Aid groups say they're being forced to beg for fuel just to do their work. Juliet Suma with the UN tells ABC the current situation makes aid deliveries impossible.
We have tiny amounts of fuel.
A GTA woman who managed to escape Gaza with her children is back home in Canada. Rana Nazraoui is among the 367 Canadian citizens and family members who have been able to get out through Egypt. She says this experience has changed her life.
Every single day you just open your eyes, you say, oh, thank God I'm alive, but I'm not sure what about the next hour.
Meantime, U.S. and Israeli officials say there are some signs of progress in hostage negotiations to try and find a deal that could release hostages in exchange for a temporary ceasefire. Phil Martino, City News.
City News Time 5:04. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the Israeli military's actions in Gaza may be impeding long-term stability in the region. City News 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney joins us with more.
While addressing the Israel-Hamas war at the APEC summit in San Francisco, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says with all the hardship Palestinians are going through in Gaza, it's making it more difficult to work towards a two-state solution.
Supporting the people of Israel means making sure that there is a future in which there is a strong, viable, safe Jewish state of Israel alongside a strong, viable state in Palestine, or of Palestinians.
The comments come just days after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu criticized Trudeau for urging the Israeli government to use maximum restraint to protect civilian life. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre said Hamas would never respect a ceasefire because it wants to oppress the people of Gaza and seek genocide against Israelis. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
City News Time 5:05. 2 local communities are left shaken after bomb threats were made at a Jewish school and New York Region Mosque. City News 680's Shauna Hunt joins us for more.
Both the Jewish and Muslim communities across the GTA have been experiencing a steep escalation in threats, harassment, assaults, and vandalism, leading police to not only patrol religious schools and places of worship, but to also expand its hate crimes units. The mosque in York Region was also targeted by a bomb threat and had to be evacuated.
What we saw last night was really horrible.
Thankfully, we haven't heard of anybody who was physically harmed, but the emotional scars, the trauma we know from these types of events will continue.
And the National Council of Canadian Muslims says what's being reported is just a sliver of what's actually happening on our streets and in our communities.
Police are encouraging anyone who has witnessed or experienced a hate crime to report it. City News Time, 5:06. A portion of the TTC's Line 1 isn't running downtown this weekend. City News 680's Asher Roth explains.
Scheduled track work means there's no service on the university portion of Line 1 today or tomorrow between St. George and St. Andrews stations, or in other words, between Bloor and King Streets. And because of all the downtown construction, shuttle buses are not running along that stretch of university. So once you're dropped off at St. George, you can either take a Line 2 train west to Spadina and take the 510 streetcar downtown, or you can head 2 stops east and take the Yonge Line. The TTC says it's running extra surface route service along College, Dundas, Queen, and King to make up for the closure. But given all that aforementioned road work, walking may be your best bet. Regular service resumes Monday morning. With an eye on your ride, Asher Roth, City News.
City News Time, 5:07. City News 680 wants to help you find those classic flicks that you may have missed. City film critic James Mackin joins us with one of the best worst films of all time.
Playing this weekend at the Fox Theater in the Beaches is a film that's critical reappraisal had a complete 180.
You don't want to piss me off, darling man, that we're friends. No. You shouldn't get pissed off. Makes you look older.
Showgirls is a 1995 film directed by Paul Verhoeven about the behind-the-scenes lives of Las Vegas dancers. It stars Elizabeth Berkley as Nomi Malone, a country girl with dreams of being a big dancer in the city, and Gina Gershon as Crystal Connors, a successful dancer always looking out for who might take her spot. The film was critically reviled when it came out, but thanks to some positive reappraisals from filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino and Jim Jarmusch, it has become a campy cult classic. It gets going tonight at 9:15. With oldies and goldies, James Mackin, City News.
City News Time, 5:08. The lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs has now been settled just one day after it was filed by his former girlfriend, singer Cassie. Cassie sued the rapper and music producer over allegations of abuse, but her attorney says they have reached a deal to their mutual satisfaction on Friday evening in a release. Cassie says that the deal was reached amicably. She thanked family, fans, and her lawyers. Combs also said it was resolved amicably and wished Cassie and her family all the best.
City News Time, 5:09. As we approach the holiday season, the city of Oakville is celebrating this magical time of year.